Okay. I realize that I need to talk about this because this is an important topic for me to discuss. Just given certain current events and also my own involvement in it. So, if you have sensitivity to suicide or self harm, you could also throw in abuse because I might go over that as well. Anything like that. If you are sensitive to those topics, you have been warned. They will be discussed in this video. I am sorry if that makes you uncomfortable and it means you have to miss this video, but these things need to be talked about for the greater good of all. I also switched back into my more not as spooky avatar because this is a bit of a serious topic. Death is something that will eventually come for all of us, but it should be allowed to come at its own pace. The end to your life at the hand of a blade, or at the end of a rope, or at the bottom of a bottle of pills is not the way to go. Because believe me, the price that you pay when you take your life early is far greater than any pain you might have felt in this life that have led you to that moment. And I would know this firsthand, being on both ends of it. I am a suicide survivor. I have attempted multiple times in my life. And in one case, I almost succeeded. The first time was back in high school after I lost my first girlfriend. And I made a noose and attempted to hang myself from the ceiling. The only reason that one didn't work is because I got a little bit of sense, tried calling the suicide hotline, and actually got hung up on 3 times. And that was so much of a jolt that I got snapped out of it. But it wasn't enough to snap me out of it completely. I still felt like I had to do something. So I made 32 lacerations up and down my left arm. There are still sometimes very faint blemishes from them. 32. 32 cuts exactly. Why I did only 32 and why I chose to do 32, I don't know. All I know is the next day that I went to school, I was getting given a lot of shit. I was in a bad mood. And in front of a classmate who was giving me a particular amount of harassment about my down mood, I showed him. And he was speechless. Because that is the kind of thing that shows you're not doing well. One of my friends actually covered up my arm and took me aside and told me that I needed to not show that or be put away in a mental hospital. Funny. But yes, I've committed self-harm a couple of times, mostly back in high school when I was definitely more in my down state. And I think there was another time where there was a rope involved the other time, and there was also a blade pressed my throat once. Those two never took further than that, thankfully. But the most recent one was this last year in April. A lot of people on my server will be very familiar with the date, April 3rd, 2024, as I've talked about this a couple of times in the channel and to a lot of my friends. And for anybody who's new and doesn't know, there's hair in my headset. That's awful. Okay, I think I got it. April 3rd, 2024. It was about 2 in the morning. I don't remember the exact time, but that is around the time that it was. My shift started, and I had just found out that some things were being used against me, and that those things would be very sensitive information, and pictures of my body leaked online, and that information was supposed to be used to gaslight a friend of mine into stopping talking with me. And from all the stress that I already had up to this moment, I finally snapped. And I put down the phone, took my bottle of ibuprofen out of my bag, and slammed down about 90 pills over the span of 10 minutes. Funny enough, I remember the exact song I was listening to on my earbuds when it happened. It was a Toxin by Fitch and Rez. Interesting choice of music, yeah. And I will say that as I was doing that, and as I got dizzier and dizzier and started feeling all lightheaded, there was a moment of bliss. There was a moment of, oh my gosh, I'm getting out of this. I'm escaping this hell. I'm leaving. I'm gonna be free. And then I realized what I was leaving behind. So I called for help. I tripped myself out of the truck and slammed into the ground and yelled out for somebody to get their attention. Called the hospital, got an ambulance, and maybe drank a bunch of charcoal to absorb the medicine, and put me in a psych ward for 8 hours. I don't talk about my childhood very often, but I did go through abuse from my sister. Unfortunately, she was not in a great mental state, which is no fault of her own. She was, like a lot of, I think, younger kids, misunderstood. Didn't get the proper attention and treatments, and had a lot of underlying medical issues, like mental stuff, like that I have. But of course, I got diagnosed. I was lucky; it was caught. For her, they didn't catch him until later, until they actually went in and gave her a psychological test and figured, oh yeah, this is why you act like this. It's because you have, well, most women are diagnosed with bipolar. It's just very common. And in fact, I think I might have it as well, if that goes to slam the point home any further. And I apologize to my sister if me talking about this is hurtful to her, but it also was hurtful to me. And I don't mean it. As a kid, getting physically pummeled on over and over again by my sister, it sucked. But 10 years of that, I feel conflicted. I feel so wrong talking about this because I don't want to, like, I don't want to make her sound like a bad guy, because she's not. My sister is an amazing, wonderful person, and she has so much good in her. And she's doing a lot of good too. Everybody has their dark periods, but it's what you do to make up for them that counts. If you actually do something to make up for them, unlike what some people that I've met in my life who refuse to do that. But yeah, that was a big influencer on a lot of my upbringing. Actually, was not feeling free to speak openly because I was always shushed and silenced in conversations, and being beaten whenever she was angry. Because not a lot of people talk about sibling abuse. It's not as commonly talked about as like domestic violence in the sense of marriage or a father to their child. That is something that should never happen. On that note, if there are any parents out there who are watching this video, I want you to know that if you beat your kid because you're angry or to punish them, you are not fit to be a parent. And you should not have had that kid. If that's the kind of person you are, you should not have had kids. Or gotten into a relationship that had someone who had kids. It is your job as a father figure or mother figure that you take care and raise your younglings, even if they're adopted, even if they're like married in like stepkids, basically. You take care of them and treat them like your own, and you raise them to the best of your abilities in the kindest environment possible. Discipline is fine, but abuse and beating your kid to the point where they're bleeding is not. Sorry, this is getting a little off track. The topic hits a bit too close to home for that. I know some people personally who have had that upbringing. And it's horrible to watch their childhoods ripped away from them like that. I hate seeing that. I'm making this video because a dear friend of mine, her name is Iris. She's a beautiful young lady from over across the Atlantic from where I am. And she's going through a tough time. She's been contemplating self-termination for a while. And I don't want to lose her. Not even just because she's my friend, but because my personal belief is that every life on this planet and in the universe is sacred and does not deserve to be snuffed and is worth saving. She doesn't see herself as worth saving, even though she is. She has so much fucking potential to do so many great things. And yet, her own mind clouds that, and all she can see is all the bad stuff, all the downsides, all the setbacks, all the failures. I just wish there was something I could do. I wish I could be there for her and give her a hug. All I know is I don't want to see her light go out. I can't lose her. She has people who care about her. She's got me. She's got her girlfriend. And a whole bunch of other people who all really want to just see her do better. To see her achieve her dreams. To do all the things that she's setting out to do. Which, they may not be a lot of ambition and a bit ambitious things that she's doing, but she still has goals. Iris, you still have things you want to do. I know you do. I want to see you reach your goals. I want to see you live long enough that you get to see me. Because I do plan to go to Eurofence I think it's called, in the next couple of years. And I want to see you there, smiling like you do. I want to hear that cute laugh of yours. I want to see you as I see you now. I see you. You matter. You are important. Even if you can't see it right now, you do matter. We love you. Would love nothing more than to see what that brave girl can achieve. Just a little ambition. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. I had such profound things that I wanted to say, but this is turning into less of this well thought out video about talking about suicide and more just a cry for help. Me staring at a camera, painfully begging my best friend not to take her own life. I want to see her, and I don't want her to be gone. I want to see her do things. See the things that she's set out to do. And I'm just repeating what I've said before already. Damn it. The point is, if this shows anything, it's not worth it. Ending your life is never the answer. It will never be the answer. There's always tomorrow, and there's always more to look forward to. No matter how hopeless you think it is, and how bleak your life may seem, hope reigns strong. Release your pain and release your negative emotions and allow your mind to ease. Light will conquer darkness. Light always wins. Because no matter what, and you could take it to a philosophical standpoint if you want, of like the universe itself. You may think that darkness will overcome all, but that is not true. Because I don't believe in like the big, like heat death. I believe that even as the universe is dying, and all the lights flicker to nothing, and darkness seems like it's taking over, and the last civilizations slowly fade into nothingness, as the last lives breathe their final breaths, the universe will collapse on itself, forming itself back into that small singularity of infinite matter crammed into an infinitely small space. And then the universe will begin anew. And even if we don't go that far out, there's always going to be another dawn. There will always be another candle to light. There will always be more light. The universe has this funny way of not letting the darkness win. No matter what dark environment you find yourself in, There's always light. There's always a way. Even if the light disappears, you merely need to see it. Motherfucker. To know it is there. That was terrible. I'm sorry. I was trying so hard to do it like a sleight of hand thing. Actually. God damn it. Even if the light seems like it's gone, you merely need to see it. To know it is there. I'm so sorry, that was really fucking corny, and I tried that like 3 times, and it doesn't have its same glamour anymore, but you get what I'm saying though, right? Light is always around you. And here's the thing. The whole universe could go into complete darkness. Your whole world is shrouded in shadows. Everything seems dark. Except for one thing. Right here. If this still beats, if your heart still pulses, if there's still life in your body, then there's light. Light follows you. Hope will always follow you. Keep it with you and keep it safe. It's always there. Even if you don't always see it, it never leaves you. Yeah, this was a bit of a ramble. I'm sorry. But I hope you enjoyed it at least. And hey, if you made it this far, put a candle in the comments. Anyway, y'all have a good night.